Welcome to the interview room. Muzzy checking in, the time's here. How you all doing? All right, let's begin. Let's have a chat about the fact that I want to interview the best fighters in the world, and that's that.
Hello guys, Muzzy here from Muay Thai Interviews again. My next guest, he is a Muay Thai and kickboxer who fights anywhere from super middleweight to light heavyweight. He's a WKBF world champ, two-time WBC world champ, IKBF world champ, and an undefeated cage Muay Thai champ. He's from Blacktown in Sydney, Australia, where he runs and owns the Full Force Gym with his other two brothers. And he's also another Aussie who I really enjoy watching fight. I'm joined by Louis Michael Badass Badato. How are you, brother?
I'm doing good. Thank you, Muzza.
No worries, brother. How'd you get the nickname Louis?
Actually, that's not my my nickname. It's actually my real name. So my full name on my certificate and birth is Louis Michael Badato. I came to Australia when I was 1 year old. My parents found that Louis was not a good name here in Australia. They found other kids were making fun of me. Louis the Fly.
Yeah.
You got Louis Vuitton. It's kind of like they didn't think it was a common name, but they found Michael to be more of a common name. So since when I was a young boy, I was just always known as Michael. But the only time people will call me Louis Michael or Louis is on paper or giving out documents, but I'll go by the name Michael.
Yeah.
And another thing I just wanted to straighten out, first of all, is I'm not actually the gym owner of Full Force Gym Blacktown. That's actually my brother's establishment, Reinhardt Badato, my oldest brother. So he's basically the founder, the director. He's a gym owner.
Yeah.
Of Muay Thai, Australia Kickboxing Full Force Gym. So that's his gym. We basically just train there and help him out, and that's all it is. It's not a family run or anything like that. It's actually all his.
It's all his, mate. So he's the boss, and what he says goes, and you're just you're his helpers and brothers.
That's right.
Excellent, mate. Now one thing I want to ask, out of you, Reinhardt and Von, how does it go? So who's the oldest, middle, and youngest?
So Reinhardt is the oldest, Von is the middle, and I'm the youngest and the prettiest. Ren's 10 years older than me. Von is 3 years older than me. And behind the scenes, hardly anyone knows, I've got a younger sister, and she's 3 years younger than me. But she's not a fighter. She's actually got brains, and she's the first one out of the Badatos to actually graduate and finish uni. So she's basically used her brains, and us boys, we've used our balls.
Does she train at all?
She does train. The training that she does is purely fitness, not fight fitness.
Yeah.
If you look her up, Michelle Grace Badato, she's actually a cheerleader. She's one of the cheerleaders from the Parramatta Eels.
That's my footy team.
She's going to her own dance school as well. So yeah, she's, in my eyes, she's very successful, and her lifestyle, I wish I was her.
I could imagine when you boys were in high school, you'd be giving her potential boyfriends the once over, making sure that they're gonna treat her right, and if they don't, they've got to mess with the Badato brothers.
This is a funny story. Once upon a time, I've had too many drinks. Me and my sister went out to the cross. And she just opened a can of whoop ass on me. And she's like, Michael, I don't need you and the older brothers to look after me. She goes, it was basically hard for her to get a boyfriend growing up. She basically went on saying, like, she's a good girl. She doesn't get around. So stop thinking it's good to intimidate boys when it's not. And since then, my sister grew up just like that. And, I trust in her judgment. My sister's a good girl, and she can date whoever she wants to date. So, yes, it was hard for her to grow up with 3 world champions, but she got there.
And especially in Blacktown too, mate. I'm originally from West Ryde, Ermington, so I know, well, for me as well, growing back up in that area, it could be quite difficult and challenging, to say the least sometimes. You get a lot of interesting characters out there.
Yeah, but you know what? This is what makes characters and makes a good person as well. So it can build character.
Oh, definitely, mate. Now, between the three of you boys, you've had over 130 fights. Now, question I want to know is if you were all in your prime and you fought each other while you were all in your prime, rank them for me from first, second to third.
I get this all the time. We get this all the time. Basically, all of us have a different answer. I would probably say my brother Von, because out of all of us, he's got a big heart. My brother Reinhardt will sometimes say me, and sometimes Von will say Reinhardt. So all us three have a different answer. The reason why I would say my brother Von, I personally seen with my very own eyes. He's tired, he's broken inside, and he's got nothing to give. And all of a sudden, just musters up all this energy just to keep going and fighting and win the world champion. I've seen him done several times where he's got gassed out and he still goes forward. Where for me, when I'm gassed out, I'm done. I'm tired, and I'm trying not to show it, but I'll show it. But yeah, once again, everyone has their own reasons. But in my eyes, I'll probably say my middle brother, Von Badato, would be the best out of all of us and kick the shit out of me if you're at our prime.
And so how did you get into kickboxing and Muay Thai, and where did it all begin for the badass?
Well, Reinhard, once again, was 10 years older than me. So I was basically in high school, going into high school when he started. He quickly rose the ranks. He was a rising star quick. Started getting East Coast titles, state titles, and Australian titles. And just being surrounded with that kind of environment, and then him inviting me to go to the gym, it was really easy for me to just follow in his footsteps. Basically, every single day I see him train, and then every single day I started to train with him. And there was just no question to it. It was just so easy to fall into that kind of environment when your family's doing it. So that's how I basically got in. Short answer, because of my oldest brother, Reinhard.
So how old were you when you first walked into a gym?
13, 14 when I first walked in.
And how old were you when you had your first fight?
15.
So was fighting always something that you knew you wanted to do, or did you just think, oh, I'm just going to go train and check it out, and then you sort of just it progressed from there?
Yeah. The second question, the second answer, I didn't think I'm going to come in and be a fighter. I just came in because I like the training. I like the people around the training, and the good thing, even nowadays, you don't need to go to a Muay Thai gym to be a fighter or to show off your macho. You just come in and you like the people, you like the environment, and you like the training. So that's the way how I got in. It had nothing to do with fighting. I just wanted to train with my brother.
I think that in general is quite one of the good things about going into a fighting gym. It's not like a general weights gym where there's so many macho men and people. Whereas if you're going to be macho and go into a martial arts gym or something like that, you're going to get put in your place quite quickly, and then you'll be humbled.
That's exactly right. Even I myself, even though that I may be a world champion fighter, and I've got all these credentials, I never say it when I'm going out drinking. I never actually tell my workmates. I can work in a place after like 3 years, 4 years. Someone will just see me on YouTube or Facebook and be like, Michael, why didn't you tell me you're a fighter? And I'll be like, that's the last thing I want to say. And that's basically the last image I want to put out as well. So if you just saw me out on the streets, out in a pub, you'll have no idea that I'm a fighter. And that's the image I like to put on. So, same with the gym. I don't want to look macho. I don't want to look like I'm the golden child. I just want to be there, do my training happily, and just spread my knowledge.
Yeah, speaking of that, I remember years and years ago, I watched you fight on, it must have been like Evolution or Knees of Fury or something like that. And at the time, you were a childcare worker, yeah?
Yeah.
Ages ago?
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I was really comfortable being a childcare worker. And truth be told, being a childcare worker was easy to become a world champion. And the reason why I say that is because I only work 3 hours in the morning and then 3 hours at night. So during the day you did nothing, and then at night, obviously, you had nothing. So with that kind of lifestyle and that kind of work, I was able to train every morning and every night, every single day I was in childcare for 6 years. So for 6 years straight, I was used to training every morning and then every night. I had to change my path of my fighting and my working. Sorry, the only reason why I had to change it because my family grew. I got married, and I wanted my family to grow even bigger. And I had bigger goals, and I needed more money, so that's why I had to change my job. So yeah,
We're all a slave to the dollar, brother. It's the root of all evil, isn't it?
it is. But you either work with it or against it, and I'll use it to my advantage. I don't want to work for it.
Yeah. So prior to Full Force opening, where were you originally training?
We were training at a gym in Blacktown called Fight Right. It's still established now. It's still open. It's a good gym. Yeah, we were just training there for years, and then we stopped training there because my brother opened up his own gym, and then we started sparring. And even to this day, they're like our right hand man, and they're our gym brothers. Bulldog, especially Bulldog Cassie Hill. So massive shout out to Stuart, and massive shout out to Steve McKinnon. They're my mentors. So basically, by the time I met them, I was 16 years old, and I just honestly, I remember sparring them and just seeing how fast and absolutely how awesome these guys are. And I was just like, oh, these guys are my heroes, and they still are. So we still train with them. They're still good. Definitely the gyms that we stick side by side, train with them.
So how many years has Full Force been open for now and operating?
I'm, in my books, I'm pretty sure 14 years or 15 years. Just give me a second. I'm 32 now. And by the time I was training, when my brother opened up the gym, I was 16 years old. So around 15 years, yeah.
And so what gave him the idea to open up a gym? Did he just want a place for his family and he just wanted to start teaching others?
I'm pretty sure my brother's got his own story for that, but the way I saw it and I interpreted, my brother had a massive passion in fight training and fighting. He won the world title. Once he won the world title, basically there was no turning back from there. And from Fight Right, we were training with Bulldog Gym, and then from Bulldog Gym, that's when we opened up. Well, my brother Reinhardt opened up his own Full Force gym. I think it was just the passion that he had and the love that he had for training and actually fighting. So he wanted to give that knowledge out as well. So, yeah.
And I think that's quite evident, mate, because I've seen some of the results that people have been getting from his gym. He's been doing like a 12-week challenge, I think it is. Giving them a diet and meal plan, and I've seen the results. So the photos don't lie.
It's really good to see it as well. And like I said, our gym is not just a fight gym. It's really, if you come to our gym, it's very family orientated, very women orientated. There's no one there that would try to intimidate you or show off the muscles. You can come in, everyone it can honestly be your first time coming in, and you'll find someone straight away that you get along with. And it's happened every single year, and I'm good friends with a lot of people from our gym. And most of the times they don't even come there anymore because they just wanted to do that challenge or something. They've changed jobs, but I'm still good friends with them because, that's what our gym is. And we're just a family gym. And, friendships still last even outside the gym.
And yeah, another thing I like about it too, mate, is Australia being multicultural. It's very like yourself being from Philippines. There's also a big Filipino community out there, and I've known a lot of Filipinos in my time, and I've had a chat with friends, and yeah, definitely cool vibe you guys have got going out there.
Yeah, they doesn't matter what nationality. Yeah, we'll train anyone, but yeah, we do get a lot of Filo base. France, one of our growing fighters, one of our superstars. He's a tough nut. This guy,
Yeah, he is.
I give him a lot of praise. France, he'll fight anyone. He'll even fight a bulldog if he has to. He will fight anyone. So as tough as nails he is.
Um, yeah, it certainly does, mate. And like I can only imagine back in the days when you three brothers were fighting, some of the sparring sessions that must have gone on between you boys, especially if there was some bit of beef or some brotherly love to settle between yous.
Yeah, you're gonna love this actually, because I myself, me and Reinhardt, the last time we sparred was probably 8 or 9 years ago. We've got this thing when we spar. It's like if you give me a good one, I'll give you a good one back.
Mm.
And he taught me that mentality. So there was this time where me and him would spar, and we would just absolutely bash each other to the point where it's like a street fight. And like even like back in the days, our trainer used to just come in to the ring and just hold us because like I wouldn't back down and he wouldn't back down. Now I'm able to fight with the middle brother Von. He's the most awkward person you'll ever spar, and the only one probably at the gym that can give me a clean punch. But Reinhard, yeah, he's for a small guy. He's got little man syndrome. He's got some power behind his punches. And if I get connected with one of those punches, even though I'm heavier than him, I can't hold back. I just want to punch him back. So it's got to a stage where I can't spar Ren. I can spar Von, and Von can spar Ren, but Ren can't spar me. So yeah, it's like a lucky movie.
I'm starting to see the common denominator here, Michael.
A lot of people do.
When you were growing up and starting out in the sport, you've mentioned like Stewie and Steve McKinnon, but who are other people that you looked up to and that you enjoyed watching fight?
Honestly, I don't have a big list. When it comes to the boxing world, I'll probably say like Kostya, Pacquiao, and Mayweather. But when it comes to the kickboxing world, only really three come in mind: the McKinnon brothers and definitely John Wayne Parr. One thing I do like about John Wayne Parr, and he's probably like the longest champion, and like one of those fighters that does it long term, and he really perseveres and is really he just sticks to the sport of fighting.
Yeah.
Like I've seen, this is my experience in hand, where I've seen a lot of upcoming fighters. They're fighting, they're knocking out all the current champs, but give them a year or two, that name fade away, and it's like whatever happened to that champ? Oh, he doesn't fight anymore. And then another uprising fighter comes up, and then a couple of years later, it's like, oh, whatever happened to that fighter? His name has just disappeared. Like one year he's on top of the world, the next year no one has ever heard of him. One thing that I like about John Wayne Parr, and I want to be, that's the kind of image I want to put in, and I'm getting it from him, is he's been in the sport for so long that he just stays in the sport and really sticks to it. He doesn't disappear. His name hasn't disappeared. And sometimes I feel like that's happening with me. I'll stay in the sport, then I'll disappear, then I'll come back and fight again, then I'll get an injury, and then after that injury I come back. But no, growing up, I can just honestly say John Wayne Parr and the McKinnon brothers.
Yeah, man, and like John Wayne Parr, he's 40 years old, but he doesn't look it. He still fights like he's 20, still goes hard.
Yeah, no, he's definitely one of my mentors growing up into this sport.
Cool, man. Yeah, nice. And as I mentioned at the start, you're a multiple champion and world champ under different sanctioning bodies. What's the achievement that you're most proud of?
Fight-wise, I'll probably say this CMT. CMT, it's given me a good name. It's given me a good name now, so I've got the guts and I've got the balls to fight bare knuckle. But the CMT is really given me opportunities to fight one of the best and even travel the world. My hardest fight to date in my career is Johan Ledun, and he was 9 times world champion. He actually fought John Wei Pa, and
Yep.
it was a very close fight. John Wei Pa took the win. So when they staged the fight between me and him, everyone knew that I was the underdog. And to tell you the truth, everyone thought I was going to get smashed. Everyone thought I was going to lose. I actually knocked him out in the 3rd round. It was the best fight, and it really grew character inside me as a fighter and as a person, because I didn't even think I could do it. I doubted myself. And then I won the fight, and there was just something soul-searching, and I found some of my answers during that fight that only I could answer. But and it wouldn't have happened if I didn't fight through the CMT. So I could hands down CMT.
When you say like that was the hardest fight of your career, what do you mean, like physically or mentally, technically?
Both. Because coming up to the fight, as you know, it gets to your mind. It's not just physically tiring; it's mentally tiring. So, like coming to the fight, I was just doubting myself, like fighting someone that is 9 times world champion, and everyone's doubting you already. And then during the fight, I'll just paint you a picture. First round, I dropped him. Second round, he dropped me. Now, when he dropped me, I was down for the A count. I was seeing stars. I didn't even know how I got hit. I just remember coming forward, and I was on the ground. When I was on the ground, something deep down inside me is like, all right, Michael, this is your time to give up, go down and stay down, or come up and fight. And something just came up inside me. I was like, fuck, I am not giving up. And I'm not going to let him have it easy. So, yeah, that to me was a hard fight.
And after having that fight, did that sort of cement yourself as if you were to say, like, you know what, I do belong with these top world class people? And is that what gave you more confidence for later on?
Yes, exactly. So this is what I mean. It was such an important fight for me because it basically set a bar for me and a standard. So knocking someone out that has never been knocked out in his career, especially the way I knocked him out, it set a standard to me. It's like, all right, from now on, Michael, I just want nothing but A-class fights. And like as you know, growing up in the Muay Thai scene, you got to do your rough nut fights. I was fighting in backyard fights, RSL fights, small club fights, just to get that name. So once I got that, once I knocked him out, I was like, you know what, I'm worth more, and I want to travel the world. I want to fight bigger names, and that's what actually happened. So after I knocked him out, he challenged me again. He gave me an opportunity to fight in France. And then from there, it was just all history, and it was good history, something I was looking forward to. So as a fighter, that's my goal now, just to travel and fight.
Now, let's reverse that. Have you ever had a fight where people reckon that you were going to flog someone, or that you thought you should have probably comfortably won, and you probably didn't train as hard or as much as what you should, and you ended up losing?
Yep. It's happened a couple of times, but, and I say this a lot to my fighters, and it's probably one of the best advice I can give to a fighter now is, the only person that can beat you is actually you. I actually say that to myself when I'm training. I say that to myself before I go to sleep. I remember I was so scared fighting Johan Ledun. I was just, I couldn't, it felt like a weight on my shoulder, the weight of the world on my shoulders. But, he ties up his shoelaces the way I do. We're all human. He feels scared, I feel scared. It's just the way how you hold it. And once again, it just got to a stage where I just looked in the mirror and like, Michael, are you gonna let yourself down, or are you gonna make yourself a champion and be somebody? So I don't know. You've got to trust in yourself. And my best advice is, it's only you. The answer is you. Whatever you think or say or do is right. If you think you're tired, you're right. You're tired. If you think you're tough, then you're tough. So yeah, that's like I said. Don't doubt yourself, and the only person that can knock you out is you.
Good words to live by, brother. Now you've been actively involved in the Aussie Muay Thai scene for quite a while now. Are you happy with the progress it's made, or do you think it still needs to make some more progress to where it can be on a level that you're happy with?
In my eyes, depends what your goal is. There was a stage in my career where I got offers in good fights as well in Australia, but my goal is now to travel the world and fight. And can you imagine that, to travel the world, to do what you love to do and get paid to do it? That's my goal. Australia was doing that. John Waypal was setting me up for a lot of Queensland fights, which I love. But as my passion for this sport and traveling grew, my demands grew up more bigger. So in my eyes, I think Australia Muay Thai still got more to grow. The only reason why I say that is it's not compared to boxing and MMA where it's more bigger. It's actually overtaking Muay Thai. But if you really do have a passion and a love for Muay Thai, you'll do it, and that's what I'm doing. But especially in New South Wales has a lot to do with more growing in Muay Thai. Because the amateurs here, to do an amateur show here in New South Wales, you have to wear knee pads, elbow pads, and headgear. Anywhere else in Australia, you don't need to. So, which is pretty bad. Like, why would you want to go to a fight when they're all wearing headgear? Muay Thai, kickboxing, boxing. This sport has been around for years, and even before when we came to Australia. So now they're making it a nanny country where everyone has to be careful. Everyone has to wear headgears, and it's just based on all these rules. We don't even know where these rules came from. So yes, Australia needs to grow up, and especially New South Wales, they need to grow up more with this Muay Thai stuff.
Yeah, I had a mate and he fought in Perth probably a few months ago, and he only had, I think it was his second or third fight, and they had to wear the headgear and the body armor and all that. And he kept saying to me, he kept going like, obviously, in Muay Thai, the knees to the body score higher than knees to the legs. But the other guy just kept corking his thigh because you're wearing a bloody full body pad. So obviously knees are going to score more, but it's not going to really cop much damage. So he just kept getting his thigh corked. And he's like, I was wondering why he kept kneeing my thigh. I was like, yeah, man, because there's no padding there. He needs you to the... And then, you're trying to clinch and you've both got these big bloody belly pads on and So I know.
Yeah, even when I was fighting with headgears, it gets in the way, and you're trying to fight, but it's hard to fight when your headgear's in your eyes. So yes, it does come to a disadvantage, but I think we just, like I said, Australia's just got to move on from that, and hopefully one day we can take those gears off.
I reckon scrap the head guard and just put on 16-ounce gloves. That should fix it.
Yeah, honestly, for me, scrap the head guards, scrap the knee guards, scrap the elbow guards if it's a Muay Thai fight. Yeah. And you're here to fight. You train to do what you want to do, and stop being a nanny state and just fight.
What's your take on like people that want to have like modified Thai rules, like knees but no elbows? It's do it one or the other either.
Look, everyone's preference is different. My specialty comes in my power of my elbows. I'll throw them. If I was a bird, I would fly, and I'll be an elbow bird because that's all I do. I just love letting those elbows fly. Now, people know my strength is in my powers on my elbows, so they choose to fight me K1 style.
Yeah.
I've had that a lot, but fighters fight. That's what I do. So, and another thing as well, fighting is just it's a hobby, really. Like you don't want to have to have a fight, have an elbow to the head, and then come back to work and you've got this big scar on your head. And you might have a corporate job, you might work in government, you might, have a job where, your image and your look is a lot and you got a big scar on your head. So, yeah, I do understand if people do want to take out the elbows, do want to take out the knees to the head. Once again, if you want to fight, then fight. Have your own goals and rules. So, yeah.
Yeah, sweet, bro. And you look like you seem to be having a lot of fun fighting in those 4-ounce gloves on John Wayne Parr's Cage Muay Thai shows. You're undefeated and you're the champion. Has there been any mention of you fighting again on the show to defend your belt at all?
Like I said, my goal personally for now is only fight overseas. I love the thought of traveling around the world to do what you love and getting paid to do it. I've been around Australia. I've been in Queensland. I've already been in Melbourne. So, like I said, that's my goal. So, but we'll see if the money's right. I'll do anything.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure John Wayne Parr's got his hands full being a active fighter again. So
Yeah.
it's hard for me to promote. He's got a good contract with Bellator. So I think since he's got that contract with Bellator, he's not doing the CMT as much as often. But who knows? Maybe. Depends who the opponent is. Depends if it's worth the money, right? But I would never say no for now. Like there's always an option. It's always good to have options. And if the option's better and good for me and my family, I'll say yes.
Yeah, cool. And like last year and a few months ago, you fought on Lethwai in Myanmar, bare knuckle boxing. Can you tell me about both those experiences? And I'm guessing we're going to be seeing you back there in the future again.
Yeah. I don't know why, but for some reason, my volume went down with you. Can you say something?
Yeah, mate. Can you hear me?
Yeah. For some reason, my volume is as loud as it can go, and I can barely hear. Should I just hang up and call you again, or?
Yeah, mate. I'll give me 2 secs.
Yeah. That was the best opportunity that's come my way. This opportunity with this bare knuckle fight, honestly, this is everything that I've always been fighting towards, and this is what I want. I want to keep fighting bare knuckle fighting until I get that world title and bring it back home to Australia. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to give up until I get that world title. I don't even care if it takes me another 2, 3, 4, even 5 years. If I have to keep fighting bare knuckle for that long, I'm going to do it. So I've got a new goal set in my head and in my heart, and I'm adamant on doing it, and I'm not going to stop until I do it. So but with this bare knuckle fighting, the company is called WLC. WLC is the biggest bare knuckle organization, and these guys, they're awesome. So I'm actually going to Yangon to do a fight event next week. After I do the fight event, they're going to send me to Thailand, and then from Thailand I'll get back to Australia. So these guys, they really do take care of me. To me, it's like a mini holiday. Even when I fight, I still find it as a mini holiday, and that's my goals. I'm not going to stop until I hit it. So yeah.
So when you say fight event, does that mean what? Are you fighting or are you promoting an upcoming show?
I'm doing a little bit of both. I'm doing a little promoting and just commentating. So
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to be the next Joe Rogan. Maybe we'll see how we go.
because I watched both your fights. The first one last year was against I think Tutu, and then the other
Yeah.
one was against
So
Saul Man. I think that's how you pronounce it.
yeah,
The first fight I thought was close, but the second fight I thought you did enough to win.
yeah. I actually thought I won both of them in my eyes. So with the first one, I gave it all. I fought hard. I used honestly all my brawl. So the second one, I was like, all right, that didn't work. What I'm gonna have to do is just really use my brains and just really pick and choose my shots. So I wasn't really as active and I wasn't really aggressive. I just really picked and choose my shots. That didn't work for me either. Um, how it is there is you're just gonna have to knock them out if you really want to fight the golden boy there.
Mm.
Crowd advantage does help, but it's not like it's corrupted or anything. They're just, the favoritism does just go a long way, and I understand that. I'm there to knock them out. They knock me out. Doesn't matter. We're here to fight. So with a fight like that, I don't mind walking around because I can really walk around with my head up high. I'm not ashamed of that fight. I really put all my heart and power into it, so I'm not scared and I'm not ashamed. So yeah.
No, well, you shouldn't be. Shouldn't be at all, mate. So does your training differ when you're fighting Lethwai? Like, how do you prepare for headbutts and all that sort of thing?
Um, you know, I personally for me, I don't really train for headbutts that much. We do the movements when we're grappling, and but if you really think about it, for every time you headbutt a pad or you headbutt a bag, in my eyes and the way I've been taught, you're actually losing brain,
Mm.
damaging your brain. You're losing more brain cells that for every time you hit your head on the bag. So I'm going to be in this sport for a long run. So what I've got to do is just practice my technique and just do the movements, but not do the headbutt on the bag.
I reckon you versus Dave LeDouche would be a good fight and a fight that a lot of people would want to see. I'm sure you might bump into him over there now. He seems to be the new
I might,
poster child.
yeah, most likely I might bump into him, but we'll see how we go. Like at the moment, I've only had 2 fights, and out of those 2 fights, I've already fought the two of the top dogs in Burma. So sorry, that's just my daughter crying. So I'm not the kind of guy to call out names, but if I've earned that time and if my time is for me to fight them, then I fight them.
Yeah, man, you've definitely fought the top dog. I was watching when the announcer was announcing Saw No Man. He's almost had 200 fights. So yeah, you're definitely going over there to fight their best anyway.
Yeah, I'm not. That doesn't intimidate me. So once they've had that many fights, I'm not scared fighting the top dogs. But yeah, just give me that opportunity. I'll fight anyone.
Can I ask, what's your mindset going into a fight? Like it can be Muay Thai or Lethwai. Because when I watch you on TV and on YouTube and that, you look so relaxed walking out there, and you look like you're having fun, that doing a bit of a dance, and you're even clowning your opponent a little bit, taunting him. How do you mentally prepare for a fight like that?
It actually took me years. It's not something that I just started doing all of a sudden. I remember one of my trainer, Stuart McKinnon, telling me, man, he was like, I was just telling him how scared I was, and I'm so scared. I feel paralyzed that I can't even move or warm up at the back. And he's like, Michael, just relax. And he goes, just be confident. And he goes, when I fight, man, I'm so confident. I reckon I could fly out there. And then when he told me that, it kind of just, my eyes just opened and I just kind of woke up. It comes back down to, once again, no one can beat you but you. So when I go in the fight now, I'm just confident and happy. When you're confident, nothing can really slow you down and nothing can put you down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My opponent can say anything. He can do anything to me. My heart and my mindset is going to be strong because I'm confident. You know, if you're confident in the way you train, confident in your teammates, and the way your trainer trained you, there shouldn't be a reason why you should be scared. You trained hard for this. If I trained hard for this, why would I let his actions or whatever he says slow me down? So yes, I'm just confident, and I want to show people my confidence. And I don't want to show people that I'm hard, and I don't want to show people that I'm intimidating. I want to show them that actions speaks louder than words. So I come out and I choose a very happy, bubbly song. I'll either choose Miley Cyrus. I choose maybe Taylor Swift. I've done that a couple of times. And, you know, I've come out, people hear my fight song, and they're laughing their heads off. Man, you can laugh at my song, but I'll show you how good I am when I knock him out.
Yeah.
And we'll see who's laughing then.
Now, you've had over 50 fights. At what number did you start to channel that nervous energy and not be so nervous?
I reckon around 35. Like when I was in my when I fought around and I was in my 30 fights, I was still the world champion, but you know, it was kind of like that, and it's still the same. Never get used to the feeling. You never get used to this anxiety rush and that feeling, but you know, you just learn how to hold it better. But I can probably say around 35 fights, I've really it got to a point where I was like, you know what? Confidence, Michael. Be confident in yourself. Be confident in your team. You've got no reason why to doubt yourself.
Yeah, nice. And when you went over to Yangon the first time last year, at the time you were the first, and you still are the first Aussie to fight for a Lethwai title. In the post-fight interview, you said it was a hard fight, and at times you felt like giving up, and your opponent looked like he felt like giving up, but neither of you did. What made you not want to give up?
It's just my heart. I was like, you know what, Michael, I was battered, I was bruised, and I was like, just don't show him. I was like, the battle, I know that you're fighting, but there's still a battle in your head that people don't see. And that battle in my head is like, just do it, Michael, just do it. And then maybe for every 30 seconds, maybe even once a minute, it just goes through your head, oh, I'm done, just stop. And then you're like, nah, keep going. So once again, that battle is in your head, which no one can see.
Yeah.
And I just kept fighting on. And the only way you can beat that bad voice in your head is experience. I've had enough fights to say in my head, just like, nah, don't give up. You're nearly there. Just do it. And it pulled me through. So I was happy with that.
And you've also had in your career one MMA fight and one boxing fight. Were they sort of just one-offs, or do you plan to later on down the track maybe pursue those?
Yeah, like I said, it's always good to have options. I think at the time I just had no fights, and I was like, my brother was like, Michael, you haven't got any kickboxing fights anytime soon, so there's an offer of MMA. Did you want to do that? And I actually did. And XFC, they offered me the fight, and they're a very good brand. They're a very good fight company. The owner, Matt, he really took care of me, and I really do see myself doing MMA or like more boxing fights. Like I said, it's just good to have options, and I'm not going to rule them out.
So where do you do like your ground training, like your BJJ and your wrestling? You got another gym that you sometimes go to?
No, we do it at our gym, Full Force Gym. So our gym
do?
also does it. The good thing about Full Force Gym, it's not just a fight gym. There's weight section there, which is a pretty good, decent weight section. We do kickboxing, we do boxing, and we do groundwork wrestling.
Okay.
So it's really a fight center.
Now, between helping your brother run his gym, training others, you also work a day job and raising a young family. Is that one of the reasons why, for a period of time there, that you stepped away from fighting?
Yes, definitely. So, you know, whether it comes to work or training or fighting, it all comes down to balance. You really got to learn how to balance and have a good, decent lifestyle balance. It's funny you say that. I just had my little cousin who just got married, Danton, and one of the best advice that I can give him, and I said it on the microphone, was you have to have a good balance in your life. Okay, when I'm fighting, I've got three main agendas, which is training, your family life, and then you got your work life. If one is weighed over than the other, one will fall. So if I'm training too much, I can see me not spending time with my family. My family will fall. If I'm spending too much time with my family, my training goes downhill and I'm not going to be ready for my fight. If I need the money too bad and I've got to do all the overtime and I'm working too much, obviously my training and family will go down. So you just got to have a good balance. Once you have a good, stable balance, honestly, you can conquer the world.
So, have you got any plans that you can tell us about, like in regards to making a return to Lethwai or Muay Thai or anything like that you can disclose at the moment, or?
At the moment, I've got a sore shoulder. I'm seeing a specialist. I'm doing rehab on it. Until I get my shoulder fixed, I'm just going to sit on the sideline. I've got my goals and I've got my eyes set on that title, so I'm in no rush. Even if I'm on the sideline for half a year, I don't even mind being on the sideline for a year as long as I get my ass up in gear and I'm training again. But first things first, I can't train with a sore shoulder.
Yeah.
And yeah. But definitely, yes, you will see me back in action.
And so, is it fair to say that you're primary and you're just focusing on the Lethwai side of things right now? So, if a good offer comes up for you to fight Muay Thai or anything, it's not happening at the moment.
Only Lethwai at the moment. That's my new goal.
There you have it, people. You heard it from the man himself. Now, what I wanted to ask you was, are there any good up and comers coming through Full Force that you think have real potential if they stick it out?
Yeah, we've got a few. I've got a young one. I think he's younger than 20, which is magic. He's really, really good. His name is Matty Ian. So, little white boy, really good. Sometimes when I spar him, I've got to show him his boss. These young guns they're really, really good. The new generation fighters, man, they're just so young and talented. When I was that age, I was like, I wish I had your speed or your power. But give them their experience, I reckon they can really shine. One of my other boys, Fran Sanchez. Sorry, that's just my daughter. Just give me 1 second.
No worries.
He's a very tough nut, and he's just one of those guys who will fight anyone. So he fought that monk. Who else is he fought? He's just fighting left, right, center. This guy, so he's got real good potential, and I think in the future, he's nothing's holding him back. So in my eyes, those two boys from our gym, they're shining.
I want to ask you about Franz. Has he managed to bring his weight down? Because I saw a while ago he went on holidays and ballooned up to 90 kilos.
Yeah, sometimes that weight can come to his advantage. Like if you spar someone with that experience, and he knows what he's doing with that weight behind him, he uses it to his advantage. But yeah, I see him now. He has lost a lot of weight, and you can tell he had a lot of fun overseas. You can tell by the look on his stomach. Yeah. Another uprising fighter that I want to personally say as well is His name's Nathan from Bulldog Gym. Nathan Roberts. In my eyes, he's going to be a pin-up poster for a show. He's going to be good. So I'll give that little guy a praise as well. He's my sparring partner when I'm getting ready as well. So yeah.
What weight does he fight at?
I think it's 67. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I'll have to
around 67.
I'll have to keep a lookout for him.
Yeah, Nathan Roberts. Yeah, good man.
And your brother Reinhardt also has his own promotion called Annihilation, which showcases some of Full Force's young talent as well as other good up-and-comers in New South Wales. How many shows a year does he put on, and when's the next one?
I think the next one is in early November or late October.
Yep.
I'll tell you the truth, for the life of me, I don't know how many shows he puts on a year. I think it's around 3 or 4. But once again, it is hard for us to put up a fight show in New South Wales with all these rules and regulations. But my brother's very organised and he's on the dot, but he still makes it happen. So, yeah, if anyone who's listening, if you live out west, if you don't, come support the boys at Fight Nights. Annihilation, Full Force. If you need any info, just look in the website of Full Force Gym.
Excellent, mate. And like you're a successful fighter, trainer, and you've got brothers who are successful in their own rights. What's some advice you would give to young up and coming fighters looking to make a name for themselves in the sport?
There's a few advice I can give, but just really don't be in a rush. Really stick in the sport and just know your goals. Like, you don't want to be going red hot for 6 months, and then after 6 months you burn out to the point where you don't want to fight or train anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I've got to honestly say I'm not the fighter, and I'm not the man who you see I am today. Over one night, it took me so many losses. It took me so many beatdowns, so many knockouts of mine, for me to get knocked out as well, to build that character in me. So it does take years, but for every year that you stick into it, it does get easier. And another thing I'll probably say is, if you have really good passion in fighting, in training, you'll go far. Because if you really do have passion in training, it's hard to fight here in New South Wales. You'll find a way somehow. So, yeah.
And, mate, if people want to contact you, follow you, or stay up to date with what's happening with you fight-wise, how can they get a hold of you?
Just check out on the Facebook of Full Force Gym.
Yep.
Or just go on the website of Full Force Gym. So, yeah.
Do you have an Instagram account or anything where people can follow you?
Well, actually, sorry, I do have an Instagram. It's Michael Badass. But I haven't been really as active on my Instagram as I am on my Facebook. I'm not those kind of guys on my Facebook where they just post anything of anything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can barely know my lifestyle unless, just spying on me on Facebook. So, look, if you do look up the Full Force on Facebook,
yeah,
definitely we do have a lot of activities happening there, and you can keep up to date from there. So, yeah.
And mate, last but not least, anyone you want to thank or give a shout out to?
I'd like to thank my trainers. I've got my boy Ellie Rez. He looks after me. And can I just say he's an awesome fighter as well. Actually forgot to mention him. My boy Luke and my 2 brothers, and obviously my 2 sparring partners, the McKinnon brothers, and they're my mentors as well. But anyone else? My wife, she knows I love her. My 2 kids, I would always praise their name, and yeah, that's it.
Well, man, thanks so much for our chat. Man, I remember before I even started training, I used to watch you on the Evo shows and all the old school shows, and just love your never never say die attitude, and the fact that you're always looking to put on a show and kill your opponent from the opening bell. There's no tit for tat little pussyfooting around. So, man, I absolutely enjoy watching you fight. I love it, and I can't wait to see you fight again in Lethwai or whatever you decide to fight in, man. I can't wait.
Excellent. Just like to say thanks to all my supporters. Thank you for this opportunity. And yes, there is going to be more of me, and there will be more fights. The best is yet to come from me, actually. So if you really think what I've done in the past was good, I've got more in my heart. I've still got more fight in me, and I can't wait to fight again. We'll see how we go.
Well, get that shoulder sorted, rest it up, rehab it, and hopefully we'll be seeing you back in the squared circle sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and just before I finish, once again, just want to thank all my fans and all my fans that have been following me from years ago. It never goes unnoticed. I'll give you a thumbs up if I can, and thanks for the support. And just remember, it's good to be a badass.
Thanks, brother. Have a good one.
Bye. Infamous and legendary, that to me is glorious. Come kick it, still talk some shit with me. I'll ask so you can answer and explain to me the history. I had to throw a vicious knee. I got a passion for the art of 8 limbs. I'm just asking from the heart. So as I conclude this interview, thanks so much for sitting through. Loved all the fighters and the folks that listen. This for you.